I actually didn't expect him to win. I had my doubts.
Basically said, will we see him running at the festival?
And I don't mind saying this as a 48-year-old man. I was really, really, really emotional.
59% said yes.
So I knew he'd won before I actually saw him win.
57% of those who think he will run would be backing him.
Well, it's obvious. It's not obvious. It's obvious, isn't it?
How we all missed the Constitution Hill was the last British winner of the Supreme also does not look great on it.
The engine is very much there.
It's not people you never even known about racing, but all about Constitution Hill.
We'll be saying steam into Constitution Hill.
One of the best I've seen in 20 years.
Does he just need to stand up to win?
Have a great week, lads.
It's getting ever closer, boys. We are just over 2 weeks away from the Cheltenham Festival. And, of course, there's only one place we can start this week. All right, we'll have all our usual Antepost chat. We'll talk about Kempton from the weekend as well, anything that caught your eye in Arden. But this could be a record. We normally into at least 5 minutes before we mention the C word. It's going to be 25 seconds. Constitution Hill.
Carging Rising. That's what we need to talk about. And Zach Purton, I thought he was brilliant. But Maureen Haggis has been on. Worst ride she's ever seen.
Right, so me and Joel's going to take a back seat and let Frankie take the floor because his time has come after Friday night. First of all, Frankie, how good was it?
Class, yeah. Do you know what? I actually didn't expect him to win. I had my doubts. I thought he might be up against it. You know, like you looked at previous jumps horses that have won the county and gone to the flat for Mullins. They always start off at around about a rating of 100 when they've been trained for a flat race. I was worried for him, and my TV was actually a little bit behind. I was getting texts through going, oh my God. So I knew he'd won before I actually saw him win. But yeah, so impressive. And he put to bed like... the ammo horse in there gave it a decent flat rating to work off, and he has won in absolute canter, hasn't he? So the engine is very much there, as they've always said. You can now kind of sympathise with them a little bit, can't you? Every time, imagine everyone that works at the yard in Henderson seeing him go up the gallops each day. If you saw him do that every day at home, no wonder they've been building him up and hyping him up and saying that he is still here, because he is, and he's obviously got the engine. Question is his jumping, and what do you do from here? But it was great to see the reception, wasn't it? It was class to see. The paddock was 5 deep. Everyone was getting photos. They were getting a cheer, round of applause. Michael Buckley was emotional, as was Nicky. It was great. It was great to see. I mean, it shows that you don't necessarily need the track or the race, do you, to make a horse race? You need the horses, because Friday night at Southall, on the flat, was one of the most exciting races we've had all year, and probably brought out the best crowd. So it is. You need the horses.
You do need the horse. That is the star of the show, and I think Friday night once again proved it. Joel, you've been just saying just before we started recording that you were at your kids' football the day, and they were all talking about constitutional people never even known about racing were all about Constitution Hill.
Yeah, I love it. It's scary though in a way. I backed the Ammo horse in second because the rumour around everywhere was this is a group horse, and David Egan was giving it big, large, whatever. The Ammo lot were there as well. I think David Egan said after the race that he'd never seen a horse ever in his career go past 9.5 lengths. There's a guy on Twitter, and sometimes you've got to look at these betting slips and go, yeah, you're making these up. AI's produce these. And there's a guy who'd put 151 to win by 9 lengths or more, just a tenner or whatever it was. Loads of these. I thought the horse either win by neck, nose, something like that, or not come out the stalls. And yeah, all right. If you go back to Friday Night Live, massive improvement from ITV's coverage from the week before. But I would have gone. I would, if the Invade stuff wasn't on, I would have gone, because I am the person that wants to go and see the horse. And it's so obvious to everybody nowadays. Live events work, like monumental TV works, only live sport works. And that's why ITV are in the hole that they're in financially, probably get sold to Sky, because they don't do proper live events. Something like this it was brilliant. And I don't mind saying this as a 48-year-old man. I was really, really, really emotional after that, for everybody. And normally I don't get like that. I love me racing. I'm not asked about the 740 at Southall on a Friday night. I thought it was absolutely class.
Yeah, Michael Buckley, Nick Henderson were both obviously very emotional in the parade ring afterwards. And fair play to Oisin Murphy as well, because he also played a huge part. You know, he'd been in school, and the interview that he gave, there's a lot of clarity, a lot of information for what on ITV on that Friday night was, you know, not people at the track, but probably people who hadn't really tuned in before. And I thought he was a massive help as well.
A ballsy ride to take as well. That's not an easy job, that. I mean,
And he was keen.
Watching, and you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't in any way. Obviously, he's gone and absolutely bolted up. But I was watching the sort of prelims going, God, I would not want to take that ride just for the amount of pressure and you know, everybody watching and waiting to see what happens. So yeah, he did a great job, and obviously he didn't have to do too much in the way of a driving finish, did he? But he played his part in, as you said, being clear with how he spoke about the horse, and obviously doing his part for riding and winning the race. He looked tiny up on top, didn't he? You could tell he's a big, strong horse.
Yeah. He's also got himself a date as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the stuff, you know, it's not my thing, but brilliant. But there's a handful of jockeys, you know, Ryan, Oisin, we mentioned Zach Burton earlier on. There's maybe Sumion. There's a few in that bracket. And absolute inspired choice to go to Oisin to ride that horse. Now, obviously, Oisin wants it to go to America and Australia because that's the big money. So, I mean, Dan Skelton was on this morning saying that, I would never run that horse over hurdles again.
I know.
Right. That was brilliant.
I know.
Right, well, go on then. We're 6 minutes in. Let's get to the crux of it. I think I know which way Joel is edging. So we'll start with you, Joel, because obviously Frankie's his number one fan. Tuesday, 2 weeks, champion hurdle. Is Constitutional down at the start?
Right. My thing is, am I the owner, am I the trainer, or am I me as a, you know, what am I doing here? Because if I am the owner, then yes, 100% I would go. But the backlash is, it's there, isn't it? Those pieces will be written by the anti-horse racing people, ready to go, fallen last 3 races. Here we are. It's all about the money. It's all about it's a death piece for racing. You know, pardon the pun. It's horrible. I can tell you now, right? And I think I can look Dan Skelton and Paul Nicholls in the eye and say, would you run if it was your horse? And they both would say yes, because I've always said, if they're fit and ready to go, I will run. You take on Nicky, and obviously we know Nicky's a sympathetic trainer. The first time ever he run a horse twice in 2 weeks, but the first time it wasn't off. So, you know, we look at it and we just go straight away. I would run, personally. I would say absolutely no chance at all. No chance at all. 100 to 1 shot runs in the champion hurdle.
Okay, so we did a poll on our X channel and basically said, will we see him running at the festival? 59% said yes. And of that 59%, we also asked, will you be backing him? 57% of those who think he will run would be backing him. Right, Frankie, what camp are you in?
I don't think he will, you know. I think when you go and win on the flat like that, it makes the decision even harder. If they were leaning more towards running in the champion, couldn't have they ran him in a low-grade hurdle race somewhere? Or yeah, there you go. They could have ran him in the Kingwell as a prep. That would make more sense if you were leaning towards running in the champion hurdle. If you were thinking, well, let's see if he's good on the flat, because then that does give us the option and reason to go on the flat, and then he's gone and won like he did, then makes me think that that's the way you'd lean. And you can start to actually picture in your head a day out at York or a day out at Ascot. And the cool thing would be is that he would still get the reception he gets. You can kind of picture him even getting beaten into third at Ascot, for example, and coming back in and getting a mighty roar. You could go on almost a sort of, year or two. It would almost be like a farewell tour, wouldn't it, around the flat tracks? If he wasn't,
old.
He could go and have a summer in 3 or 4 top flat races at the big festivals, be brilliant, be great fun for everyone, and then you could retire him. Obviously, the nagging feeling is the whole what if of we had this great champion hurdler that could have won 2, 3, 4 champion hurdles and he never did, and it'll be the redemption that that means that they want to just one more time say, look, that's what we knew he could do, and if he does it, job done. He'll probably never go over hurdles again. So it's a really tough decision. I'm kind of feeling like they won't after the weekend.
Yeah, I think Michael Buckley, I know you said a few with the owner, Joel, but he was on Look on Sunday. He mentioned things like the Melbourne Cup and
yes,
things
100%.
like that.
Yeah, and the Australians have been out this morning saying we'd love him here. I mean, he'd get all the way there and obviously fail the medical, wouldn't he? If he can, so he'll be drawn in the car park. I mean, because that's what just happens in the Melbourne Cup, isn't it? But I'd love to see him like that. And also, Alan King's gone down this route now a little bit more, hasn't he? Nicky's never really gone. I mean,
he's won the Ascot Stakes a few times, hasn't he? And
yeah, but I mean, Alan King's gone more this way, whereas Nicky just dipped his toe in, and I think it would be great. But I think it was 1-2 pretty much everywhere after that race to run the Champion Hurdle, and I'm going, are you mad?
I think everyone's of the opinion that if he jumps round, he wins.
Well, that was my next question then. If he does turn up, are you backing him? Is it a case of, with the quality of the field, does he just need to stand up to win?
Yeah, I think so. I think if he jumps, he wins, and therefore if he does line up, I think I would probably back him, because you would just be hoping that he doesn't have another fall. And then if you put the two pieces of ways of thinking together, then he wins, doesn't he? So if he lines up, I'll have a bet, but I don't think he's going to run.
And another big question as well. I mean, considering how well Oisin handled him, I know it was on the flat. He has taken a jumps license out before.
Would he ride him?
Would he ride him in the Champion Hurdle?
No way. I mean, it'd be hilarious if he did.
No. But why? He's one of the best I've seen in 20 years.
Yeah, just wouldn't make sense.
And he's cool, and a bit of low sun. There's 3 of them gone, 4 of them gone. It's
imagine that.
I mean,
maybe,
honestly,
maybe they'll have him entered in case the weather goes the right way.
Yeah. I'd love to see. I'd love to see that, but
I mean, we joke, but imagine how fun it would be if there was, a couple omitted and he jumped his last hurdle that he had to navigate, and we just roar him home over a mile on the flat. That'd be unbelievable.
If it was a vintage year, then that would probably make the decision, even easier. But the fact it is so open, or so, we know he's the best horse and his chance is clear to see. So they must be tempted to think if he does jump round, he just wins and go for it. There is so many what ifs, buts and maybes. There is just that nagging doubt. They've schooled him till the cows come home, and he's still been stepping at his hurdles. And it is just that what if, that horror moment. He's had 3 pearlers already that he's walked away.
The way he falls as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that lack of confidence. It's not like he's been unlucky. It's all in his brain by the look of it. And that's what you could just... I mean, he did it at the first.
And if Sir Gino was still around, and best wishes to him, by the way, if he was still favourite, then he would definitely not be going anywhere near it, would he? That decision would be made. So there is so many moving parts and the reason that we're here, but it's great.
You think he'll go, Matt?
I don't think he will. I think there'd be too much pressure on them. If anything was to happen, I mean, I know we criticise Nicky sometimes for not running his horse. And to be fair, he's like the race. I think he's run 22 times, hasn't he? We do criticise him at times, but if anything was to happen, it'd be a PR disaster, wouldn't it? Well, it'd be a racing disaster. It'd be an uproar, and then all the "I told you so"s would be out saying that they shouldn't have done it. So that's the massive negative potential, but it's ifs, buts, and maybes, isn't it? And if he does jump around,
I mentioned before when I had a horse and the trainer had a couple of glasses of red wine and entered it over fences, and he'd gone, entered it over fences and it only run over hurdles, and he's like, shall I pull it? And I said, well, is school all right at home? And he's like, it'll be he's bomb proof. He might not be good enough, and he won at 20-1, but if that had fallen and that would have been at like a Hexham or a Sedgefield or a Newcastle midweek, and it sounds awful to say that, but as you know, all these anti-racing people only care about the Grand National and Cheltenham. They're not there at Plumpton on a Monday or whatever. And I genuinely do think the PR disaster is waiting to happen. And if Nicky's got to come out and go, right, press release, 10 o'clock in the morning, he's got to have to sit there and go through 2 bottles of wine and make that decision and go, right, guys, we're running.
And just for the horse as well, we'd all be watching nervous for the sake of the horse, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it's horrible. It's not a nice watch. That was a nice watch on Friday. It was a nice watch, and if he comes third, fourth, fifth, tailed off, whatever, wins by nose, everything's great. But for him to do it like that, there was no nerves there. It was, what's he got? Oh, what's under that bonnet at the age of 9? And it's a really tough decision to make. I would run the champion hurdle personally myself because I'm a sports person, but I'm not involved with racing as big as they are. This kills Nicky, doesn't it? It kills him. It kills Michael Buckley, and they'll be all over you. So, and he'd probably go and win hard held, 10 lengths. And then, egg on the face, but can you take that risk? And it's a really sad state of affairs that this is what horses are bred for. And nobody wants to see a horse get injured or worse.
And the fact how many people he pulled into the sport maybe on Friday night, all being well and new to it, and then just a few weeks later. And again, we're talking, I don't know why we always think of the negatives, don't we? But we're talking about worst case scenario. But he could ultimately skip round. And one of the best moments I've had on Cheltenham Racecourse was when Sprinter Sacre came back and won the championship. And I was I've never been anywhere in racing, in a parade ring or in a winner's enclosure where that sound. Honeysuckle came close.
I was
Honeysuckle up there last year. Could you imagine if he was led back into the winner's enclosure, the atmosphere? What it? But that you need to, but you could bottle that and never have to work again.
Yeah, that would be unbelievable, wouldn't it? The walk back that they do in front of the grandstand down the chute would be unreal.
And
I remember being stood on the rail when he won the Supreme, and it was just that known for if he was to win the champion this year.
You said at the age of 48, you were happy to say you were emotional on Friday night. Could you imagine how many grown men would be in tears then?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it would be if they're on the 8 or 10 to 1. We started this show.
Right, we've done him just so. If he turns up, you're back in.
He wins. Yeah.
He wins, but what price is he going to be if he's standing down there and they're doing the parade ring? What is he? 7-4, 6-4, 6-5 evens? What's he going to be?
The weight of money.
Well, I think I messaged you both earlier this week about we really need to. I know you've nailed down Alexi for your champion hurdle bet. As a live outsider, if you're getting 3 places. It all depends on Lossy Mouth, doesn't it? And can you reverse that form with brighter days ahead? It's difficult. If you're having a bet today, I know we've got no non-run, no bet, and all that stuff. But if you're looking today, where you putting your dough, Frankie?
I'll get onto that.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, I know Joel. I know exactly where Joel's going to go, and I'm going to
where?
Golden Ace.
Have a great week, lads.
There we go.
It's obvious. It's not obvious. It's obvious, isn't it?
Well, she's a reigning champion hurdler. She's won a 5-5.
And I was one of those people. That luckiest horse in training, all of that. People saying that, and I was like that. But you've got to jump. You've got to jump.
She beat Brighter Days Ahead in the Mares Novice.
Yeah.
Lossymouth. If Constitutional turns up, Lossymouth will go the Mares. Is she that proverbial each way bet to nothing?
Absolutely. Account closer. It's on.
Right. Frankie doesn't agree, so we'll find out exactly why and what he's going for Antepost with shortly. And he doesn't look too impressed. Oh no, I think he's frozen. I know. Right.
It's the Botox.
Let's just quickly. He's the talking horse, and as I say, it'd be brilliant to have Constitutional in the champion. I'm just not sure if he did, but honestly, if he was to win, I would not want to be anywhere else than around that winner's enclosure. And I tell you what, if he does win, there is no chance the next race goes off at 4, whatever it is, 4:40, whatever. Yeah. Right.
Hang on, Matt. We're doing the preview the night before. We're all going to be there as well. So we've got the preview night the night before, and then we're all going to be there. And I'll be honest, I think I might be feeling a little worse for wear there, and just topping up on that first day.
We'll be saying steam into Constitutional if we're at that preview night, and he's dotted up to race.
Yeah, it'll be some occasion. So just to reiterate that, bottle of sauce Monday night before the festival. Will's 3 will be there. We'll have some special guests. Dave will be there as well. Loads of special guests. We're trying to get John Joe O'Neill Jr. there and another special guest and loads of special offers just for you guys. And we'll let you know very shortly exactly how you can get all the tickets and be there with us in the Bottle of Sauce on that Monday night. More to come on that very, very sure. Got a special Punters Guide this week as well. We're off on location, so make sure you tune into Punters Guide as well on Friday. Right, boys, quickly roll through Kempton in the Adonis. The Luna Artiste. Someone actually sent me a message about this one earlier on Saturday morning. I didn't listen. I think, sadly, we lost Precious Man, but I think this one, she had his measure anyway coming in the closing stages. Not in the Triumph. She's in the Fred Winter. Chances, Frankie?
There's 1.5 horses probably from the weekend that I would give a chance to at Cheltenham, and she's got to be one of them. She was tanking, turning for home. Now, wasn't the strongest race in the world, and we obviously, unfortunately, never got to see what Precious Man would have done to finish off his race. But as you mentioned, she did look to be going best of all, turning for home and coming down to the second last. So you'd have to rate her in the same sort of realm as what you maybe had him in your head at, which is a good benchmark. And then the second thing would be how much she looks to have improved past the horse in second, One Horse Town it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She only beat by a length or so, half a length at Cheltenham, and then has put 12 lengths between herself and him this time out. So good amount of improvement, which you want to see in these young horses. Jumped well enough, nice turn of foot to kick from the rest of the field to finish. And as I said, Precious Man acting as somewhat of a measure down to the second last. All in all, I think it was actually a decent performance, and you couldn't rule her out of a Fred Winter. You normally get a price, 10s and beyond for the Fred Winter, so it doesn't always go the way of the talking horses at the top of the market, and you do get ones that come and sneak in late and win sort of this close to the festival. It's not uncommon. So yeah, I quite liked her performance. I'm not saying she's definitely a bet for me, but I think she could be in the shake-up.
Joel?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I don't think she's had the race as well. I thought Cheltenham maybe come too close for horses who run at Kempton a couple of weeks out, 3 weeks out, whatever it is, 2.5 weeks, whatever it is. I thought she was just cruising. She was great. One Horse Town, after the favourite had fallen, I thought One Horse Town was going to win. Fantasy World, not a clue with that horse. $600,000 that Lady Bamford looked like she might have spuffed up the wall, or maybe ground dependent. I don't know, but I was very much impressed with the winner. Very much.
Fantasy will be back on the flat, I would imagine. 12-1 the Luna Artiste for the Fred Winter. Harry Derham. I'm going to talk about Ossie Fen Road in a minute, but Club de Rev winning the Dovecote stylishly. Is he just a Kempton horse, or is he a supreme candidate?
You sound more excited than me, Matt. This was one from the weekend that I just couldn't get excited about. When I flicked back to the champion hurdle market and had a look what I think he's got to beat, I would be more in opposite to what I've just said about the Fred Winter, those towards the top of the market. I think, they're sort of horses in the high 130s, mid 140s, proper grade one form. I don't think he's in the same level.
Joel?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you summed it up straight away, Matt. Kempton horse.
I just want to mention Mossy Fenro because Harry Down was on the opening show, wasn't he? And though only for Frankie didn't exactly enhance the form, he's not given up hope at all. And he said there was a reason for what happened at Musselburn. I noticed that I think it was a Delmore Renner one that put it up as one of her Lucky 15 selections on Friday night as well, on Friday Night Live, which I thought was interesting. I thought, oh, that's a bit left field. And then Harry Derham on the opening show on Saturday morning. So, all right, I'm not exactly on at the best price, but I am not giving...
Hang on, what price do you want at, Matt?
So I am not giving up hope of Mossy
Really?
Road. It's got a 6 in it, but it's preceded by a 1 and not another 6. However, yeah.
Cheltenham form?
Cheltenham, yeah. Well, yeah,
What?
all being well, he gets there. But it was just nice to hear of him. He's not just completely said, right, that he's beaten, he's not, he's going to save for another day and go somewhere else and make it easy. He still thinks he's training for the Supreme, and that is where he is heading. So,
Sorry, he hasn't won Cheltenham. Talking rubbish.
Yeah. Right. Which one have you tipped up Lookaway?
Frankie.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely
smashed in the market.
Yeah.
Did stay. Can he go up in a festival handicap?
I probably could have a crack at the ultimate, couldn't he? This would be the half, the one horse that I fancy, and this would be the half.
Would he come back and trip to the plate or something?
No, I mean, I think he could go further, if I'm honest. My worry was he looked a bit one place. I think he's just a proper horse that just sort of chugs along. He jumped really well. I thought he was efficient over his fences, even if it wasn't always the most sort of aesthetically pleasing jump. He gets up and over them pretty quickly. So he's quick over, sorry, fences, not hurdles. Quick over his fences. He plugs on. I think he'll stay. I genuinely think he could probably go up in trip. My worry was, would he prefer a flat track? But then I checked back in on his form. He come second in a Greatwood. He won a novice hurdle at Cheltenham. He was third in the Arkle trial. All right, Loda Sub was 10, 12 lengths clear, but he's a pretty good marker for a 2-mile race as well. We're talking about a 3-mile race. He actually ticks a fair few boxes for me, really. So yeah, he's one that you can have a crack with, and I would be very surprised if they didn't after the weekend, what they saw, particularly because that was his first time over 3, and they might feel like they've just unlocked a new sort of avenue with him and gained more options with what he's done. So I reckon he'd go to the Ultimate, would be my guess. And I think he'd have a chance.
Yeah, I suppose 3 mile on the old course isn't as stiff as the new, and does suit front runners, and the ground be imagine 2 well on the first day. Joel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was pretty much the Ultimate. There's certain horses that we talk about all the time between that last 3-4 weeks up to Cheltenham where there's some decent prize money on offer. And these may be their version of the Gold Cup. I don't think this was. There was quite a few horses at the weekend. Didn't have ridiculously hard races and won. So the turnaround in this, obviously, I don't know the horse at home or whatever. Jane Williams will hopefully know a little bit more than me. But also Ultimate Bound, you might as well have a pop. Again, it's that thing. Horse is fit. Horse is eating up next day. Everything's fine. You might as well have a pop. And no good. Well, put them up.
Yeah, 14-1 then for the Ultimate. Pop over to Ireland. Did we see the next honeysuckle in those silks? Majalique flew after the back of the last.
She did, didn't she? Joel's not happy with that honeysuckle. I'll tell you that. He's going, honeysuckle? Hang on a minute. Yeah, it might be a stretch, but she did fly after the last. I mean, to mark her performance up, she made an absolute mess of the second last time. Paul lost his lines for a second, and then sort of regained control and went 1-2 squeeze, see you later. So bit of a turn of foot in there. Was it the best race? Is she? Well, she definitely wasn't top of the pile. Unfortunately, Narcisco Has isn't going to make the Triumph anymore. I would be surprised if she comes out on top even of the Mullins lot for the Triumph. Maybe a horse to keep in mind a bit further down the line, though, perhaps. She's come onto the scene quite late, hasn't she?
Certainly has. And I think I know where Joel's going with this.
No, I mean, obviously she's got an engine, a really good engine. But as far as 2 out, where she did a Gaelic Warrior, and it was one of those. You can't do that around Cheltenham. I know it's a cliche, whatever. You can't do that. Obviously a baby, but there's some engine there. But I mean, I think you're stretching it with a bit of honeysuckle, maybe in time, but not yet.
Emmett Mullins' Melbourne Shamrock won the final Potemps qualifier in the colours of Robert Whaley Cohen. Interesting contender, boys. Joel.
Donna Myler in the enclosure again, Joel.
Yeah, I love Donna. I told you she's lovely. Donna from Wigan. she is lovely. Look, was beaten what? A neck, head, something like that. You say shrewd connections. What do you mean by that, Matt?
Well, plotted, I guess. I mean, to qualify with the last victory. Weights are out this week or Tuesday. The weights will be out. We need to see what weight he got. So obviously, Robert Whaley Cohen invested in Cheltenham as well. So just could be very much a written.
Well, yeah, there's a few points, isn't there? He won a point to point over 3 miles. Was placed in a bumper early on, and then didn't do or hasn't done a whole lot, and then went off and backed into favourite for the final Potemps qualifier. There are a few things of note, but you still have got to be pretty good to win a Potemps, haven't you? Do you know what? I don't actually mind the horse in second of Gordon's. It was tried in the pipe last year, came nowhere, but was rated in the sort of mid 130s. They even had to go over fences, didn't work out, and that again could be one that has actually made his way back down the weights to the right side of 130. Went off 129 at the weekend. Looks an absolute boat, one paced, no speed, but that's what you need, isn't it? at the Thames. I might have been more interested in the second horse, Minella's 6-0.
No, 6-0, yeah.
Yeah.
And on the ropes was 30. 2 quick back-to-back runs as well. Just very quickly, then, Mo Davian won easy at Fairy House. Could she be Fred Winterbound?
Another, that was
Gigginstown, was it?
Gigginstown, yeah. 10, 12, 13 lengths.
Yeah.
I worry with them. You know, you have a look at the form in behind. 90 rated horses, not that exciting.
I feel like Joel agrees as well with that face.
No, I was looking before. Is it that Shark Cannon horse in second, and then another 12 lengths back to 50 to 1 shot. You're going to beat what's put in front of you. I don't think Gordon's going to be, having a party over this one back at Gordon's.
Okay, right. Just quickly before we get into post, I want to do a trainer in focus, and it's going to have to be Nicky Henderson, isn't it? Obviously, we talked at length about Constitution Hill, but even with Sally Sergino out, it is still a very strong book when you think of the likes of Lou Lambert he's got. Obviously, wherever Jericho de Repene turns up as well, and he's always got an outsider. Donny the Great was the one last year. You can never rule those out in handicaps at all. I mean, he's going there with a fair team again, Frankie.
Yeah, not to bring it back to Constitution Hill straight away, but I'm just picturing, I mean, it's always a Henderson Tuesday, isn't it? Imagine the scenes if he wins the Supreme, then he wins the Arkle, and then Constitution Hill lines up in the champion. He'd go off 1-2, wouldn't he? It'd be absolutely mental if that were to happen, and it's not that far stretched from what could be reality. He does have a good team. When we do these trainers in focus, I always sort of write down their top level horses, and I mentioned a couple on the Tuesday there, but he's got live chance in the Gold Cup. Django Bay, Iberico Lord probably pop up in a handicap. He's got Active Innocence in the Turners, John Bond consistent as ever. We spoke about him, so he's got a good graded team. I do feel like it does kind of have to happen for him on day one, though. I know that's slightly cliche, but I feel like he'd want to be getting on the board with one of those three if Con Hill runs on day one. Otherwise, he has lots of chances, but nothing that nothing that I've backed, to be honest, for the rest of the week, and nothing that I'm super interested in without having a proper dive at the handicap. So I feel like he wants some winners on day one.
Joel's got Jericho de Repene in his repertoire a little later on in the week.
No, I was just off the top of my head looking this morning at the Nicky Henderson horses and going through them and where to possibly go. I mean, Donny the Great, Impostoir.
He stays, isn't he? But really out completely.
Stayers. What do you think? Again, without filling it with what everyone else is talking about with Constitution Hill and then John Bon. John Bon go? Yes or no? Or I heard a lot of podcasts this week from much better people and more intelligent people and more racing people than me, saying that you would take that horse to the King George, you train that horse to the King George, and then say thank you very much, have a great night. We're thinking missing Cheltenham, going to Aintree.
It depends on Factor File, doesn't it? If Factor File does reroute to the Gold Cup, John will go Ryanair. If Factor File does go Ryanair, he wins and John will go to Aintree. That's how I would see it.
Mm-hmm.
There's horses that I keep forgetting about, like Charisma, Mare's Knowledge Hurdle.
Yeah.
Obviously, Old Park Star. That was the only. What's the last Antepost slip that I've got that looks like a bit of value. 8-1 into what is it now? 15-8 or something like that. Probably go off shorter. I really do like Django Bay for the Gold Cup, and I've not kept that quiet. But it's a wide open Gold Cup. Active Innocence, like Frankie mentioned, the Turners. I think he'll have a great day on day one. And then Willie Mullins will be a price, and you get the wheelbarrow on Willie Mullins as this third and fourth boat comes across, and he cleans up.
God, I tell you what, as I'm just looking at it now, because I can't get away from this lap in Scenaire. Cannot get away from
it. Turtle.
And she's got an entry. Can she go in the pipe?
Is she not getting Mare's Hurdle?
She's got entries in the county, the pipe, and the Mare's Hurdle. She was obviously beaten last time, but after almost a year off on the track. I actually spoke to Paul O'Brien in the morning, and he said, Nicky just said, give her, see how she gets on, because she's back from a long break. And that race was actually not terrible race. Hollygrove Char, the winner, and Jubilee Alpha, a decent horse in second. And it's true, she just didn't finish her race, probably for a bit of fitness. 2.5 in the pipe off of around about 130. That might not be a bad little shout.
I had down as for Mares Hurdle. That's what I had. But
it looks like she should go with 2 entries. Imagine she go handicap now.
Yeah, I just think some of these, like, without sounding really corporate, is non-run no bet. If you ever got the funds, and you got a tenner in, a tenner there, a 20 quid here, 20 quid there, you might as well back them both, and then get your dough back. If you don't mind taking a short price, and that's the new Antepost game, isn't it now?
Right, that leads us nicely on then, the Antepost portfolio. Now, I must apologise for last week. In fact, there's a guy who does watch this, I know, Dave Crowther, he actually messaged on there as well. He actually sent me a message, he said, I've backed in my teens as well. And the next day, she wasn't entered. So hopefully it's not running no bet. So yeah, I mean, it was a big gamble on her. She wasn't entered the Fred Winter. And then I looked at the Jack Richards, and Jimmy Desoy's not in there either, Joel. So last week was an absolute travesty. It was pretty crap. And whilst I'm on the subject of trying to correct ourselves as well, how we all missed that Constitution Hill was the last British winner of the Supreme also does not look great on it. We apologise to all our viewers out there. We do apologise.
Youngborn won it, didn't he?
Absolute crap last week of both knowledge and Antepost picks, but they were nominated.
Just need Mighty Park to come out now.
Exactly, yeah. So that was shocking. So there we go. So right, I'll go through some of the comments actually from last week before we do the Antepost picks, because there was a few interesting ones on there. And I've lost it. I think there was one who was asking about Fred not being non-run and no bet, but we are non-run and no bet on all races. So don't worry about that. And obviously there'll be loads of offers in the build-up to the festival as well. And somebody sadly put Narciso has in their bank a treble, which obviously sadly has been ruled out subsequently. But anyway, less of the banter, boys. We keep getting told off for this. Antepost picks this week. Frankie's going to go supreme then?
No, champion hurdle. If you were listening,
you're gonna go to the champion. Yeah. My way of thinking, like I said, I don't think Constitution Hill will run, and if he does, I'll probably end up backing him when I know that he is. But on the basis that if he comes out, everything else might tighten up just a touch, and I actually, might end up just having a sort of, not a saver on him, but it's not the worst thing to have 2 bets in the race when he can fall as easy as he does if he goes. So with him not going, but not confirmed to not go, I think Brighter Days Ahead can win it. I think she's better than the new line. I know that she's been beaten at Cheltenham twice, and Cheltenham form is obviously important. Some people will be throwing stuff at their screens because a horse getting beat year after year at Cheltenham doesn't read well. But I feel like both Gordon and a couple of these top class horses that just weren't getting the rub of the green last year are getting it this year. He's also been very bullish post DRF about how his horses have come out of that. He said they're absolutely fine. There's a good snippet of him and Ben Pauling at a preview night having a laugh, saying that we take on top class horses every week and tough races every week. Not a problem that they had to go in heavy ground, and she's more than ready to go. I think she's best. She's the best horse, best animal in the race as a 2-mile hurdler. There are question marks over Cheltenham, but it's an open race, and if he doesn't go, she'd tighten up a touch. I'd say she's a play at her current price.
And if Lossie Buff doesn't go, she shortens up even more.
Yeah, so it's sort of it's one of those.
And Alexi comes into 6-1.
Put it this way, I've decided that if they all line up, I still wouldn't be terribly unhappy with having a few quid on her. Okay. And if a couple come out, even better.
Joel, Antepost pick this week?
I went for Coral Cup, decent big double figure price. Nurse Susan for Skeltons. Is Ensign the Mares as well, but you are? Well, just come back this morning and looking back at interviews of, she's a 9-year-old, but she's like a 6-year-old because she's not had the racing miles, and she's hard to train. I was just waiting for when the leaves come out on the trees.
Same colours.
Yeah. It's just one of those. I don't know what price she is, Matt. If you could do the check now.
16-1.
16-1, and I was just thinking everything that Dan is saying about she's lazy, doesn't do a spot of work at home, but when she gets to the track and it's the time of the year. Last run wasn't particularly great, inspiring, and she was pulled out at Haydock last time, wasn't she? I just think we're sitting there, and I don't mind taking a risk in these colours with this trainer, with the postscript is just insert Nurse Susan for Langadam here. That's for me. So I'll take 16's Coral Cup.
16's Coral Cup. Well, how far was she beaten yesterday? She's weak and quite tame, 18 lengths in the end. So, yeah, we could easily say Langadan-esque. Right.
When you say weekend, I mean, I'll wait for getting to this now.
It wasn't a ground of font, was it? So it's stiff track as well, so you can excuse that. Right, I'm going to go for the easiest race of the entire week.
Gold Cup.
The Martin Pipe.
I do love a bit in the Martin Pipe.
So hang on a second. So whatever you're tipping up is going to have to get pulled out tomorrow.
Well, I don't think it will, because
I'm interested in this. I love a bet in the Pipe.
I might go and get some popcorn. Hang on.
You ready?
Go on.
Is he back? Right. So, last year's second, Act of Authority. Okay. Consistently ridden by the conditional. Second last year behind Wadhu. There's no Wadhu in here. Don't forget, she was clearly a stonewall in on a new rating now. Had the rest over 4 lengths behind, and just looks like has been set right up for a tilt again. Ollie Murphy, of course, spent a lot of time with Gordon Elliott. Gordon Elliott loves this race because of association with Martin Pipe. Lewis Saunders has been riding this one plenty. Just look at his form since that second last year. Then he went to Aintree, went off favourite. Then behind Haiti Claw at Newbury, beaten 10 lengths. Then third at Aintree, not beaten too far. Fourth at Windsor on New Year's Day in a decent handicap hurdle. Then, disappointing at Ascot the day. Clearly, he's been primed, ready for a tilt to go one better in the Martin Pipe, I think. He's 20-1. He's off Mark. They'll probably see him around about 11 stone 5 or 6, I think. Which will be a nice racing weight, and basically going to be a pound higher than last year when he said that everything else over 4 lengths behind, but couldn't reel in. But one of the best handicapped horses we've had in years at Cheltenham. So, Act of Authority, 20-1 to go one better in the Martin Pipe.
Like it a lot. Form behind Woodhu is not bad at all, coming in off a similar mark, is it? I mean, obviously they've had very different careers, but what's Woodhu rated now,
154 she is. She was 141 in this last year.
There you are.
He went up 5 for not winning here, and then he's just steadily climbed back, or steadily fallen back down to a mark, just a pound.
Redemption in the Pipe.
I think so. So there we are. So that's mine. So Act of Authority for me in the Martin Pipe, 20-1. Nurse Susan the Coral Cup for Joel, 16-1. And Brighter Days Ahead, 11-4 for Frankie in the Champion Hurdle. Anything else, boys, that we haven't mentioned from the weekend?
No, sir.
No, genuinely, no, not for Cheltenham. Few iffy rides here and there as usual. Few brilliant. I mean, Sean Bowen, fair playing at the 200 up. He's phenomenal. I think Sean Bowen, Ben Jones, say it every week. They've been brilliant this season.
It's about time we start having a sieve through the card to find out if Sean Byrne will have a winner, isn't it?
And Ollie Murphy.
Well, mine's Ollie Murphy, but surely Sean Byrne can't ride him.
Yeah, hey!
The irony that would be. Right, cheers, boys. So we are on location filming this weekend of the Punters Guide, so make sure you join us there. We'll be some snippets behind the scenes at hopefully Ollie Greenall and Josh Guerrero's yard. So that's to look forward to on Friday. We're back road to Cheltenham next Monday as well, which will be our final one before the live show on the 9th of March. So 2 weeks today, boys, we'll be readying ourselves with the bottle of sauce in Cheltenham for the live show on the eve of the Cheltenham Festival. How does that sound? Cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I know Frankie's got to go. He's got his Botox appointment in 15 seconds. But we're in the studio next week, yeah, just to confirm. Studio next week. Dave Orton will be in the studio as well next week. So if we start recording, we should be done by the Newcastle plate. Northumberland plate.
Brilliant. Right, cheers, joins, gents. That was a look back at the weekend. Obviously, all about Constitution Hill. Will he or won't he? Comment below if you think he'll go. And if he does, will you be backing him to reign supreme in the Champion Hurdle? Also, start commenting with all your best bets for this year's festival, and we'll get to some of them next week. Cheers for joining us. Join us for the Punters Guide on Friday. We'll try and find you a few winners for the weekend, and all the best. We'll see you then.